This is a note layer, a Chrome extension that turns any website into a feedback canvas, pin comments, collaborate in real time, and share with anyone. I built and shipped this in 12 days. No team, no co-founder, just me and an AI agent I treated not as a tool, but as my team. This is the story of how a one-person team actually works. And this is today what I want to share. UX designers I know has been vibe coding a lot lately. Lovable, Figma Make, many other platform. Everyone's spinning up prototypes faster than ever. But here's the problem no one talks about. How do you get feedback on these things? In Figma, it's solved. Anyone can leave a comment on the canvas synchronously or asynchronously. Multiple stakeholders jump in whenever they want. It's natural. But vibe coded prototypes, feedback sessions are limited to meetings. Someone shares their screen, people talk over each other, and if you weren't in that meeting, you miss it. There's no way for a broader audience to leave offline comments or easily comment at the same time. A lot of informations were shared by screenshot in Slack messages. Designers I know have been complaining about this gap. I studied this vibe coding platform. It's not easy to gather user feedback from any of them. And here's the irony. Even the most powerful AI today still needs human direction to build products that actually serve people. Expert knowledge, user feedback, taste, AI doesn't replace them. It amplifies them. So I am trying to form this product idea of how can I solve this problem? Maybe turn any vibe coded prototype into a canvas that we can all comment and interact on. But I am only one person. I have always worked in big teams. Could I actually launch a product alone? I have heard that Cloudy Code is a strong agent that can play many roles. So even I used some other IDE-based AI coding tools before, Cursor, Copilot, but I always just treated them as assistants. I just use them to create things like dashboard when I already had a solid plan, and they have helped me execute well. That feels like a totally different relationship. What I wanted was a co-worker, someone who works separately on their part, and that we can come back together, discuss, and merge our deliverables like a real team. I was wondering if I can do that with the cloud these agentic experiences. So before I write a simple line of code, I sit down and assign the roles between me and Cloudy. As you can see in the role assignment table, I was assuming that I will be a product manager. I will still be able to do my UX research and design work where I hand off the things I don't know, like software architecturing, engineering, documentation, QA works to Cloudy, while I can do some distribution and marketing. This was my initial assumption. But I will talk about who actually played the bigger role in all of this later on. So the first step is scanning the market. As the product manager, my first job wasn't building anything, it was figuring out where the product should live. Most wide coded prototypes ended up deployed as websites, so I thought, what if I add something to the browser itself? A Chrome extension that turns any page into a feedback canvas? I started studying annotation tools already on Chrome Web Store, and to test whether AI could do this research for me, I also asked Cloudy to scan the market for me. Cloudy did respond, but a lot of the result it gathered is too generic, or some of the result it bring for those extensions can be a little bit outdated, majorly focusing on bookmarking tools. The, the answers were too general. Uh, and the apps it recommended are were not always about real-time collaboration. It's focused a lot on bookmarking. So my assumption was right. I still have my value as a PM. Market research, competitive analysis, understanding user need, there would still need to be human work. I studied the existing extensions myself. Many had decent user bases. The market was real. Chrome is the most used browser, so the direction was clear. Also, from a cost perspective, live web search with an AI agent bursts through tokens fast. As a PM, I decided to save Cloudy's budget for where I feel it will matter most, building. So um, I I continued my work as a product manager, and this phase took me about 2 days. Next, I put on my UX researcher hat. I collected a list of Chrome extensions, captured which features were good, and identified the gaps. I real already gathered requirements from teammates and heard voices from the broader community. Normally, I'd produce sketches, low fidelity prototypes in Figma, run feedback sessions with those low fidelity prototypes. But AI tooling has drastically lowered the cost of prototyping. So I was considering if I should follow my old design process or give my engineering friend a chance and see how it runs. Maybe it will give me something really quick. I choose the latter, skip the wireframes, go straight to a working prototype and gather feedback on that. I wrote down my user stories. Uh, was still limited at that point based on the user research that I did. I had a list of high level features I want to implement. And then I handed them off to my agentic friend. This UX research phase took about 3 to 4 days. Instead of asking Cloudy Code to immediately execute what I have, because the content that I gave it it's a lot of context. So I specifically put Cloudy into a planning mode. I didn't want to just start coding. I want to act as it to act as a software architect. Because I'm now shipping a code snippet, I need a fully functional solution, even if it's just an MVP. And here's what surprised me. After getting my story, Claudia didn't just lay out a plan. It acted like we were in a meeting together. It asked me questions such as what kind of database I need, how would I like to organize the code, what's my authentication strategies. It what became a back and forth conversation. I asked it to compare the pros and cons between the different solutions. At the same time, I was doing my own research on the architectures it recommended, cross-referencing, validating. At the end, we both agreed on the stock, TypeScript, Supabase, Chrome extension, Manifest v3, Google authentication, and it come up with implementation plan for me. I am not sure every decision was absolutely right, but I found this process fascinating because I was learning. It feels like I was really talking to a principal engineer in my team. Even it wasn't the perfect architecture for this particular project, my understanding of the system deepened. The meeting with the AI agent took about 1 hour, and I also spent a little bit more time to cross-referencing. After we agreed on the implementation plan, I I submitted the implementation plan to my agentic friend. I was hoping to have something in a few days, but in fact, all the features that we required it only took half an hour. The quality wasn't bad at all. Instead, it's pretty solid. It captured most of the features from my user stories. Authentication worked, comments could be pinned, sharing generated a link, but it had that AI look, very templated visuals, default spacing, generic copy, functional, but not crafted and not intuitive. Then I put on my UX designer hat. I did the design critique, reduced the redundant messages in the interface, adjusted feedback states, reorganized components to the right position. Some changes were pure design decisions. Other required back and forth with the AI engineer about how the Chrome extension framework could and couldn't do, real trade-off discussions. It feels like I am really talking with my engineers to help them improve what they deliver. After my critiques went back to the AI engineer, the interface improved significantly, but it's not that now the end. We need to test it in the real world. So, since I already have this application, I put it in my Chrome browser and really tested it against all different kind of site. I started to first. Initially, I was hoping the AI can do some QA testing itself, but in fact, when I put it on the real side, I feel I still see there's a lot of things that's missing. I put the plugin to put comment on real prototypes that Lovable, Figma, Make, and other platform generated. And there is where things get humbling. The user story were perfect in my assumptions, but the real world doesn't works differently. So, for example, my AI engineer used the absolute positioning to track comments markers on those sites, but when I put those comments markers on interactive prototypes such as hover states and animated state, or it's a model, it's a side panel, markers will disappear or get floated in the wrong place. So I have to discuss with my engineering friend of how can we treat it, that we shouldn't treat it website as static pages. We should treat them as interactive components. And we had this deep architecture changing conversation where I bring in the UX professional perspective while gave it my intentions, while my agentic friend explored different architecture patterns to help me to solve this problem. It used strategies such as XPath-based element tracking or shadow domes isolation, so the components wouldn't break because of the markers that I had. I had entered all different kind of prompts to solve that situation. Also, with UX Designer I find the warning messages were specific enough. There are a lot of problems such as rate limits problems, network failures, deleted link that can affect the comment, but all of these error messages were shown as the same generic error. I'd missed this failure states in my user stories that I had when I really have the high fidelity prototype. I identified it and asked the AI engineer, to improve on that. Also, the cross-user collaboration wasn't smooth like I intended in my user stories because the updates it integrated were to real time. If user A left a comment, user B had to refresh their page to see it. I asked Claude about the band. What if we want to do all this in real time? And we discussed about the bandwidth implications, making architecture call to use WebSocket. So to use real-time subscriptions because I feel it will be critical for the users. After a very in-depth cleanup, dozens of bugs, edge cases, and UX refinements were done. And this whole process of cleaning up and making tweaks actually took about 5 days. Even it seems very long, but it's still significantly short if you think about how in the old days our prototype works. So after I successfully compiled the application, now it's ready to get it shipped. Claude handles the documentation for me really well because it had the full history of every prompt, every decision, every change that I make. So at the end, it was able to pull together security docs, testing plans, privacy policies, all the all the documentations that I need generated from the context it already had. It even helped me with marketing copy, surprisingly good at translating technical documentation into user-facing language. But I still need to do the distribution myself because I am the one that need to submit the application to a online Chrome extension store. However, what I found is that Cloudy wasn't very clear about the Chrome Web Store's review process and the some of the policies it's using. So my app get rejected twice. The first rejection was Cloudy declaring in its manifest something it's never used, the scripting part. This is because Cloud and Chrome treat the concept of scripting differently. The second rejection was about inaccurate description. Initially, I couldn't find the issue, but then I figured it out. It was because in my marketing website, I wasn't using the most accurate language there. Instead of, I specifically had add to Chrome on my marketing side, but it can only be added from the Chrome store. So there is that like subtle difference that the Cloudy couldn't recognize. This is so I updated that, and with the search submission, the extension gets approved, and now it's available in the Chrome Web Store. So from this collaboration, I understand AI may not execute well on subjective or ambiguous subjective roles, like platform policies, tune and compliance require some kind of human judgment. So after having this extension successfully published, I reviewed on my process and I revisited who actually did what. So I find that I was actually the one that helping the AI to make some software architecture decisions. That's pretty surprising. Instead of relying it to be the full engineer, actually, a lot of our discussions were very meaningful. I thought Cloudy could help me with most of the QA work with its unit test, but in fact, I have to do a lot of quality controls myself because I have to test it how the user interaction, whether user interaction, whether it's intuitive enough, and how it works in the in different real world scenarios. And surprisingly, I was thinking I will be the one writing up a lot of marketing documentations and know where to publish it. My marketing material was actually Cloudy handles that pretty well because it knows the context of my application. Shipping this V1 version is the starting line. Feedback is already coming in and turning into new stories, new planning sessions, and new big build. So I had this user feedback, me being the PM, creating stories, and Claude doing the architecture planning, engineering work cycle. And this will become the default feedback layer for any for the newer versions that I'm building. The first build was fast, but the real product is shaped by the cycles that come later. This is not a story by the AI replacing a team. It's about what happens when you stop treating AI as an assistant and start treating it as a team member with specific roles. I still make a lot of product decisions. I still do the UX critique and the real world QA. I still talk to users. I write the stories. I still manage the distribution myself. But the engineering, the documentation, the architecture discussion, things that I am now so familiar with, those happen through the conversation between me and my agent. The same conversation I'd have with real teammates, except that they all happen in one terminal window. So one person, one AI team, a shipped product, and a vision for what's next. That's what a one person team looks like for me in my latest experiment.